You stood in the shower this morning, pulled a bar across your skin, felt clean, felt like you'd done one decent thing for yourself before the day started. Here's what no one told you. For most bars sitting on US shelves, what you just rinsed off isn't legally soap. It's a synthetic detergent built from petroleum-derived surfactants, and the manufacturing process behind it can leave behind a contaminant your liver cannot break down, a compound the EPA classifies as a likely human carcinogen. It does not appear on the ingredient label. It is not legally required to. You didn't buy soap. You bought a cosmetic detergent that never had to prove it was safe on your skin. Not once. Not to anyone. If you're staring at your bathroom shelf right now, wondering whether to throw everything out tonight, don't panic. I'll tell you which bars to phase out first, which ones you can safely finish, and which ones to never bring home again. Federal law defines actual soap, but the FDA does not require pre-market safety testing on either category. Today, I'm using federal regulatory filings, independent laboratory audits, and gas chromatography analysis to show you 8 brands delivering harm with every wash. Then 4 brands that meet the federal definition of actual soap. Plus, we give you 3 home tests you can run tonight with no laboratory equipment. One involves holding a flame to your soap bar. What burns and what melts will tell you more than any ingredient label ever could. Worst. Number 1. Dove Original Beauty Bar. Dove never puts the word soap on that box. You'll see beauty bar, moisturizing bar, gentle bar, anything but the one word you thought you were buying. Once they admit it's a detergent bar, the entire illusion of gentleness collapses, and a 60-year marketing campaign goes with it. Dove's primary surfactant is sodium lauryl isethionate, a synthetic detergent derived from petroleum feedstocks. The formula cleanses at a near neutral pH around 7. Traditional soap sits alkaline, around 9 to 10. Dove is chemically a syndet bar. The gentle marketing is real. The soap claim is legally impossible. Unilever knows exactly what they're doing. December 2025, federal class action over false anti-aging claims on Dove retinol body wash. April 2025, another suit over deceptive naturally derived labeling on Dove products. December 29, 2025, another over deodorant labeling. The lawsuits stack up. Unilever reported first quarter 2026 underlying sales growth of 3.8%, with Dove leading high single-digit growth in skin cleansing. The complaints get filed. The revenue keeps climbing. Your dermatologist still recommends the bar. And about that recommendation, if your skin is sensitive, acne-prone, or you're already managing rosacea or eczema, that residue isn't just annoying. It can keep your barrier in a constant low-grade flare without you ever connecting the cause to the bar you've used since college. Across acne.org and Amazon, users with oily or acne-prone skin report the same pattern. A persistent film that doesn't rinse clean, breakouts within weeks, clogged pores. One acne.org reviewer put it plainly: sodium tallowate and coconut acids leave a thick film and are extremely poor clogging. Unilever ran the numbers. Your ignorance was more profitable than your trust. The next brand wraps itself in gold packaging. The formula inside earned none of it. Worst. Number 2. Dial Gold Complete Clean. Dial wraps itself in gold packaging. You see gold, you think quality. Independent lab testing tells a completely different story. See the word Loreth on the back of that bottle? That little ETH is the red flag. It tells you the surfactant went through an ethoxylation step, a high-energy industrial process that can leave behind 1,4-dioxane as an unwanted hitchhiker in the final formula. The EPA classifies 1,4-dioxane as likely to be carcinogenic to humans. It is persistent, mobile, and toxic. It accumulates in liver and kidney tissue with repeated exposure, and it never appears on any label. Disclosure is not required because it's a manufacturing byproduct, not an added ingredient. The carcinogen is baked into the process, and the label stays silent. California's Department of Toxic Substances Control launched rulemaking in early 2026, targeting shampoo and dish detergents containing 1,4-dioxane above 1 part per million. And the agency's broader regulatory focus on personal care and cleaning products is now firmly on the table. Laboratory testing has detected dioxane in ethoxylated personal care products at levels exceeding California's proposed safe harbor limits. And before you ask, there is no published safe daily dose for your liver. Regulators didn't draw the line at 1 part per million because lower levels are harmless. They drew it there because that's the compromise the rulemaking landed on. Across Sazily Skin blog and Amazon reviews, the pattern is consistent. Tight, stiff skin after several days, and a scent described as chemical cleaner rather than perfume. That gold packaging promises premium. The formula delivers petroleum chemistry and a carcinogen regulators are only now starting to address. Dial is owned by Henkel and sits at mass market pricing at Walmart, Target, and Amazon. The contamination pathway sits right next to it. Invisible, undisclosed, completely legal. The next brand sells freshness. What creates that scent is another story entirely. Worst number 3, Irish Spring Original. Irish Spring sells freshness. Smell that scent. Fresh, clean, Irish. None of those words describe what's actually creating the smell. Gas chromatography testing, the same technology used in forensic crime laboratories, identifies what does. Colgate-Palmolive calls it fragrance. Forensic chemists call it evidence. That innocent word fragrance is Washington's favorite trapdoor. The Fair Packaging and Labeling Act lets brands stuff up to 3,000 separate chemicals behind that one word and call the entire cocktail a trade secret. The ingredient list says fragrance. It does not say phthalates, synthetic musks, or any of the individual compounds creating the scent. Phthalates are endocrine disruptors. They mimic human hormones and interfere with thyroid regulation, reproductive function, and testosterone production. The European Union banned them from cosmetics. The United States still protects them as trade secrets. Synthetic musks bioaccumulate, detected in human breast milk, concentrated in human fat tissue. You think you're washing off the day, you're actually dissolving your own defenses. Across Home Depot, Walmart, and shaving forums, the pattern since the reformulation is consistent. Overpowering chemical smell, eyes watering, headaches from the scent alone. One Home Depot reviewer wrote, "The bar now smells like chemical toilet cleaner," and made his eyes water. Multiple Walmart reviewers describe it as slimy after the flaxseed oil change, cracking and disintegrating in the soap dish. It smells like an Irish meadow until your eyes water like you opened a public restroom cleaner. And no, switching to a fragrance-free soap will not leave you smelling off. Real soap gets you clean and lets your own light scent come through. If you still want a scent, add one labeled essential oil instead of a 3,000 chemical mystery blend. Irish Spring is manufactured by Colgate-Palmolive. The same company that makes your toothpaste also makes the bar that smells like a chemical toilet. The freshness you smell is protected by federal trade secret law. Your nose burns, your skin absorbs. The next brand has been calling itself Pure for over a century. Pure does not mean what you think. Worst number 4, Ivory Original Bar Soap. Ivory markets itself as 99.44% pure. It floats. 2 claims the brand has repeated for over 100 years. Let me tell you what they're not telling you. Ivory is true soap. It actually meets the FDA definition. The ingredient list shows saponified plant oils, sodium palmate, and sodium palm kernelate. Unlike Dove, Dial, and Irish Spring, Ivory can legally call itself soap, but being true soap does not make it good soap. Ivory has a pH of approximately 9.5. Human skin has a natural acid mantle around 4.5 to 5.5. A pH of 9.5 demolishes that acid mantle. It strips the natural oil barrier that keeps bacteria out and moisture in. That squeaky clean feeling? Your skin barrier just got demolished. And don't tell yourself it's safer because you only use it on your body. On mature skin, especially post-menopause when skin naturally loses oil, a daily pH of 9.5 keeps your legs, arms, and chest in a constant dry, itchy cycle. Despite the 99.44% pure marketing, Ivory contains added fragrance, undisclosed chemicals protected as trade secrets, sitting in the 0.56% the brand never advertises. The purity claim is arithmetic. It is not safety. Ivory floated for over a century because air was whipped into the formula during manufacturing. P&G quietly reformulated and discontinued the floating version, so most bars on shelves today no longer float. Buoyancy was a manufacturing artifact, not a skincare benefit. It's a parlor trick from 1879 that worked on people who never asked why soap needed to float, and that the brand finally stopped bothering with. Across Walmart and Amazon, the pattern is extreme dryness, tight skin, and that squeaky clean feeling that signals your oil barrier has been stripped. One longtime user reported the new formula smells waxy, leaves skin dry, and gets used up faster. Procter & Gamble sells this for under $3 per bar. You get what you pay for, a pH wrecking ball wrapped in century-old marketing. The next brand copied Dove's homework, but not the safety profile. Worst, number 5. Equate Beauty Gentle Cleansing Bar. Equate Beauty Gentle Cleansing Bar is the Walmart Dove copycat. Same shape, same promises, $3 less. You thought you made a smart shopping decision. The EWG Skin Deep database has a different story. EWG rates this bar with moderate cancer concern, high allergies and immunotoxicity concern, and high use restrictions. Third-party laboratory scoring, not marketing language. Actual hazard assessment from chemists who don't get paid by Walmart. The ingredient list includes sodium cocoa isethionate, the same synthetic detergent as Dove, plus stearic acid, fragrance, and petrolatum. Petrolatum is a petroleum byproduct contaminated with polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, in unrefined batches. PAHs are known carcinogens. Petrolatum appears in the formula because it is cheap filler. You saved $3. You bought moderate cancer risk, high allergies and immunotoxicity, and high use restrictions. That is the trade. Across Walmart reviews, shoppers report the body wash feels like bar soap in liquid form, requires excessive pumps to lather, and leaves skin somewhat dry. The reviewer caved and went back to Dove. Walmart reverse-engineered the formula, cut costs on sourcing, skipped the safety investment, and bet you wouldn't check the EWG database. For most shoppers, they're right. You thought you were saving money. Walmart sold you a higher hazard copycat and pocketed the difference. And here's what Walmart doesn't put on an end cap. On the same shelf, a few feet over, sits Whole Naturals Castile soap with 5 third-party safety certifications stamped on the bottle. We'll get to it. The next brand targets the demographic least likely to read an ingredient label. Worst, number 6. Axe Phoenix and Apollo Body Wash. Axe markets to young men, teenagers, college students. The demographic least likely to read an ingredient label became the demographic most likely to turn their own skin into a chemical reaction site every morning. The strategy wasn't accidental. Under the right conditions, combinations like cocamidopropyl betaine and certain preservatives can form nitrosamines, and that reaction doesn't politely stop at the factory door. It can continue on warm skin in a steamy bathroom. Nitrosamines are classified as probable human carcinogens by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. The packaging says body wash, the chemistry says petri dish. The formulas also contain blue 1, yellow 5, and red 33, synthetic petroleum-derived colorants. Yellow 5 is tartrazine, an azo dye that has been flagged for allergic and behavioral reactions in the food additive research literature. These colorants serve zero cleansing function. They exist to make the product look appealing in the bottle. Petroleum-derived dye, rubbed into skin, for nothing but Instagram aesthetics. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, fragrances listed as parfum on ingredient labels are among the leading causes of allergic contact dermatitis from cosmetics. Across Quora, Badger and Blade forums, and beauty analysis sites, the pattern is consistent. Overpowering fragrance, respiratory irritation, skin dryness, itching. One forum user wrote that after washing with Axe for a couple of days, his shins and feet became itchy enough to drive him nuts. Multiple users described the fragrance as cheap and overwhelming. Axe is manufactured by Unilever. They're selling cologne in a soap bottle to young men who don't read labels. If your son or grandson lives in Axe, separate the cleaning from the cologne. Swap the body wash for an unscented Castile and let him pick a single labeled body spray for scent. You stop the chemistry experiment without taking away the part of the bottle he actually cares about. The next brand built its name on antibacterial protection and quietly dropped the claim when the FDA shut the category down. The chemistry that replaced it is its own story. Worst, number 7. Lever 2000 Original Bar. Lever 2000 promises clean for the whole family. Family aisle staple. The kind of bar a grandmother throws in the cart without flipping it over. Here's what the marketing leaves out. In 2016, the FDA issued a final rule banning 19 antibacterial chemicals, including triclosan, from over-the-counter consumer wash products, after manufacturers failed to prove these soaps were any more effective than plain soap and water. The federal agency in charge officially ruled that antibacterial soap against everyday germs does nothing a basic true soap can't do. The brand quietly dropped the antibacterial label from the consumer bar. What replaced it is the same petroleum-derived chemistry stack you've seen all video: petrolatum, mineral oil, synthetic fragrance, and a sulfur laurate detergent base, all sitting on a bar that grandmothers still buy because the box looks like the one they bought 30 years ago. So what exactly are you paying for? The pediatric halo, the reassurance for a grandmother buying bath soap for grandkids she sees on weekends. The brand name that meant something in the 90s. The part that should make you angry. Synthetic musks and fragrance chemicals. The same chemical classes used in scented bars like this show up in human breast milk and fat tissue in published biomonitoring research. Children have thinner skin barriers, faster absorption rates, and developing immune systems still calibrating what to attack and what to ignore. Petrolatum and mineral oil, both petroleum byproducts, round out a formula whose only real innovation since launch has been quietly dropping the health claim that made the brand famous. Across Walmart and Amazon reviews, users report the bar leaves skin stripped and tight within days, the aggressive cleansing the brand once marketed as protection. Lever 2000 was sold by Unilever to Yellowwood Partners in 2024 as part of the Elida Beauty carve-out. You'll find it on the family aisle end cap, 3 bars for a few dollars, the cheapest way to put petroleum-derived chemistry into your kids' bathwater. Family pricing, plus a name people half remember from their childhood, outsells the chemistry. The business model runs on that bet. The next segment is not a brand. It is a category, and it is in almost every budget soap aisle in America. Worst, number 8. Store brand generics with DMDM hydantoin. Store brand generics at Walmart and Target, Equate and Up, use DMDM hydantoin as a preservative. That's a time-release formaldehyde generator. As the months tick by, it drips microscopic doses of embalming chemical into your family body wash and onto your skin every time you lather. Formaldehyde is a known human carcinogen. The American Contact Dermatitis Society named it 2015 Allergen of the Year. Your soap uses embalming chemistry, and the manufacturer chose this preservative because it costs less than safer alternatives. Even after major brands pledged to phase formaldehyde releases out, laboratory surveys still find them in a significant slice of US cosmetics, especially in cheaper store-brand formulas. Contact allergy rates in the United States are markedly higher than in Europe, where these preservatives face stricter regulation. Johnson & Johnson voluntarily stopped using formaldehyde releases years ago. Store brands kept going. Children have developing lungs, immature immune systems, and more permeable skin than adults. Pediatric dermatologists have flagged formaldehyde exposure in children's products as an unnecessary risk. Your savings funded a different kind of investment. Want a 5-second scan you can run tonight? Flip every bottle in your bathroom and look for 2 things: DMDM hydantoin, or any ingredient ending in urea, diazolidinyl urea, imidazolidinyl urea. The same chemistry under different names. That's your red flag. One Amazon reviewer of Equate body wash reported a burning sensation and rash after first use. Multiple reviewers describe store-brand bars crumbling in the dish and leaving a chemical smell on skin. The price difference is real. So is the formaldehyde. The store brand bet you'd see the savings and skip reading the back of the bottle. The exposure accumulates. The label stays silent. Now, the brands that actually meet the federal definition of soap. Best, number 1. Dr. Bronner's Castile Soap. Organic coconut oil. Organic olive oil. Organic hemp seed oil. Organic palm kernel oil. Organic jojoba wax. Potassium hydroxide. Water. Plus citric acid and tocopherol, vitamin E. The whole formula sits in that list. No ethoxylation. No synthetic detergents. The chemistry is saponification. The contamination pathway that haunts dial simply does not exist here. Federal law defines soap as the alkali salts of fatty acids. Dr. Bronner's meets that definition. It is true soap. Because there is no ethoxylation step, the 1,4-dioxane contamination route that hits SLES-based products has nowhere to occur. Dr. Bronner's costs $4 to $12 per bottle depending on size. It is available at Whole Foods, Target, Amazon, and Sephora. Clean formulation does not require luxury pricing. Across Amazon, Walmart, and Thing testing, the pattern is consistent. The concentrated formula feels watery, can dry skin or hair, and requires dilution and a learning curve. One Thing testing reviewer reported the formula feels watery and struggles to foam on skin. The peppermint variant, the brand's top seller, is described as too intense for sensitive areas, causing tingling or burning on face and sensitive skin. The drying effect and learning curve are user experience notes, not safety concerns. The formula contains no synthetic detergents, no fragrance loophole chemicals, no ethoxylation byproducts. And to the question I know you're asking, yes, even if you need a moisturizer after, a true soap with no dioxane pathway and no fragrance loophole is a far cleaner trade for 65-year-old skin than a gentle-feeling detergent bar layered with undisclosed chemicals. The next brand takes traditional even further and puts ethics on the label. Best, number 2. Alaffia Authentic African Black Soap. Alaffia uses a 6-hour cook followed by a 3-week sun cure. That timeline matters. Modern soap manufacturing takes 45 minutes in an industrial mixer. Speed is profit. Alaffia's process is the opposite of profit optimization, and that tells you everything about what you're buying. The ingredient list shows fair trade shea butter, West African palm oil from orangutan-safe sources, plant-derived surfactants, and plantain ash potash for saponification. Fair trade certification means third-party audited ethical sourcing at every supply chain node, not a marketing slogan. Alaffia is also certified through EcoCerts for Life standard for corporate social responsibility. These are certifications that cost money and require documentation. Most brands skip them. Alaffia didn't. There are no sulfate detergents and no fragrance loophole. The liquid version uses lauryl glucoside, a sugar-derived plant surfactant, far milder than the petroleum-based detergents you saw in Dove, Dial, and Axe. What you smell in the unscented version is what it is: shea butter and ash. Some users on Amazon and Lipstick Alley report the liquid formula lacks lather and feels more like lotion than soap. The bar soap version leaves grey residue on shower surfaces, though it cleans off easily. The lather complaint is your brain expecting bubble machine chemistry. If it doesn't explode into Instagram foam, that's not failure. That's the first time in decades your skin has seen real soap instead of synthetic surfactants engineered to look like cleanliness. Foam is a visual placebo. If your skin is fragile or thinning, don't dive in head first. Start by using Alaffia once or twice a week as a deeper cleanse, and keep a milder castile for daily use. You don't have to retire your routine overnight to start protecting your barrier. Alaffia is available at Target, Whole Foods, and Amazon. The brand supports West African women's cooperatives through fair trade purchasing. You're paying for a supply chain that didn't exploit anyone to reach your shower, proof that ethical was always possible at accessible pricing. Most brands just didn't want to pay for the certifications. The next brand has been making Castile soap since before the Civil War. Best, number 3. Kirk's Castile Soap. Kirk's has been making the same coconut oil Castile soap since 1839, before the Civil War, before petroleum refining, before synthetic detergents existed as a category. The fragrance-free bar today comes down to a short list rooted in saponified coconut oil, sodium cocoate, water, glycerin, sodium chloride, and sodium gluconate. No synthetic surfactants, no ethoxylation byproducts. Most brands reformulate every 3 to 5 years, chasing cost savings or trend cycles. Kirk's has been making essentially the same coconut oil soap for 185 years because the chemistry works, and there's nothing cheaper to substitute without turning it into a detergent bar. That longevity is not heritage branding. It's evidence the formula survived because it's sound. The bar costs under $4 at Walmart, Kroger, and Amazon. If a soap rooted in 3 core ingredients at mass-market retailers for under $4 meets the federal definition of actual soap, every excuse about clean formulations requiring specialty pricing dies here. Buried. Done. Across Walmart, Amazon, and Badger and Blade forums, users report extreme drying, particularly on hands and face. One Walmart reviewer wrote that after 2 to 3 weeks, hands became so dry and rough they cracked. A Badger and Blade user described slight burning on the face and windstorm dry skin. That drying effect is not contamination, it's 100% coconut oil chemistry. Coconut oil soap has a naturally high cleansing number and strips oil aggressively. The fragrance-free formula contains no synthetic detergents, no ethoxylation byproducts, no fragrance chemicals. The original fresh scent version adds a natural and synthetic fragrance blend, so for sensitive skin, reach for the fragrance-free bar. You may need lotion after. You do not need a toxicology degree to read the label. And if Kirk's wrecked your hands, don't write off Castile entirely. Coconut-heavy formulas strip more aggressively. Olive-heavy formulas like Whole Naturals are far gentler on mature skin. Same category, completely different feel. The final brand is Walmart stocked, and it might be the cleanest soap in America. Best. Number 4. Whole Naturals Castile Soap. You've heard about 2 Castile soaps. Here's why I'm telling you about a third, and why this one might be the only soap you ever need to know about. Whole Naturals Castile Soap is stocked at Walmart and Amazon, including a private label tie at Walmart, where you can find it on shelf. That alone should make you suspicious. Walmart is known for cost optimization and moving volume, not the cleanest formulations in America. So when a soap with this certification stack lands on Walmart shelves, while luxury brands charging $40 can't even get one, something broke in the incentive structure that usually keeps clean products expensive. EWG verified, third-party certified palm oil free, Leaping Bunny approved, OTCO certified organic, non-GMO and vegan, third-party certified. That certification stack costs money, requires months of documentation, and subjects the manufacturer to independent laboratory audits at every supply chain node. Whole Naturals did it, and still landed on Walmart shelves at under $10. Walmart pulled off what luxury beauty couldn't. That sentence shouldn't be true, but it is. Compare that to the bar you used this morning. Does it carry any third-party certifications? Or does it just say dermatologist tested, a marketing term with no regulatory definition and no verification requirement? The unscented ingredient list runs through saponified organic oils: coconut, olive, castor, argan, jojoba, hemp, almond, apricot kernel, and prickly pear, plus potassium hydroxide and vegetable glycerin. Actual soap. No synthetic detergents, no ethoxylation byproducts, no fragrance loophole chemicals. The unscented formula lets you add essential oils if you want scent, or leave it plain for sensitive skin. Under $10 at Walmart. Every brand charging $40 for clean formulations just lost their excuse. Every influencer telling you clean beauty requires specialty retail just lost their credibility. If you take one thing from this video, take this. The alternative exists. It's accessible, it costs less than lunch, and it's been third-party verified by 5 independent organizations. If you want the one-and-done switch, this single bottle replaces your body wash, hand soap, and face cleanser. What you do with that information is your choice, but you can't say you didn't know. The FDA does not require safety testing before these products reach store shelves. The FDA allows up to 3,000 chemicals to hide behind the single word, fragrance. The FDA has known about 1,4-dioxane contamination in ethoxylated products for decades and still does not require it on any label. The European Union has banned over 1,300 chemicals from cosmetics and personal care products. The United States has banned fewer than a dozen. Phthalates, certain azo dyes, multiple preservatives flagged as carcinogenic, illegal in Europe, sitting in your shower in the United States. You are living in the lab rat market, so who is actually protecting you? Independent watchdogs, EWG verified, Made Safe certified, Leaping Bunny, B Corp status. Those certifications require independent laboratory audits and third-party verification. The FDA stamp doesn't. Dermatologist tested doesn't. The marketing department writes those. The regulatory gap is not an accident. It's a policy choice that prioritizes corporate profit over consumer health. Every bar on that shelf exists because someone decided disclosure was optional and bet you wouldn't notice. Home tests. 3 tests. No laboratory, no chemistry degree. Run them tonight. Test 1. The ingredient label decode. 10 seconds. Pick up your bar and read the first 3 ingredients. If you see saponified oils, sodium tallowate, sodium cocoate, sodium olivate, sodium palmate, you're holding actual soap. If you see anything ending in sulfate, isethionate, or sulfosuccinate, you're holding a synthetic detergent in a bar shape. The chemistry is decided in those first 3 lines. Marketing on the front of the box doesn't get a vote. And if the word soap appears nowhere on the packaging, beauty bar, cleansing bar, moisturizing bar instead, that's not stylistic. That's federal labeling law telling you what you already suspect. Test 2. The hard water test. This is the one no marketing budget can survive, because chemistry does the work, not your eyes. Fill a clear glass with warm tap water. Wet your bar, work up a small lather between your hands, drop a quarter-sized blob into the glass, and swirl it once. Real soap reacts with the calcium and magnesium in tap water and produces a cloudy, milky precipitate, the same chemistry that creates the ring around your bathtub. Synthetic detergent bars don't do that. They were engineered specifically to dodge the hard water reaction. Cloudy water means real soap. Clear water with foam floating on top means you've been rinsing detergent down your drain and rinsing it across your skin every morning. This is how chemists differentiate the two categories without a lab. Test 3. The flame test. Save this one for last. It's dramatic and it's final. Over the kitchen sink. Metal spoon under the bar to catch drips. Hair and sleeves tied back. Window cracked. Hold a lighter to a corner of the bar for 10 to 15 seconds. Real soap, saponified animal or plant fats, will char. It blackens, develops a crusty layer, smolders slowly like dry wood. That's organic material combusting. Synthetic detergent bars will melt. They turn into a puddle, drip like candle wax, or release thick, acrid smoke that smells like burning plastic. Because chemically, that's what's happening. Dove will melt. Dial will melt. Irish Spring will melt. Ivory will char. Dr. Bronner's will char. Kirk's will char. Whole Naturals will char. Once you watch a luxury bar liquefy into a puddle on your kitchen spoon, you cannot unsee it. That's the test that breaks the marketing forever. Every deception covered today exists because someone calculated that your ignorance was more profitable than your safety. The beauty bar label evading the word soap. The fragrance loophole hiding thousands of chemicals. The ethoxylation process generating carcinogens that never appear on labels. The antibacterial halo over a chemistry pipeline aimed at your kids. That calculation ends when you flip the bottle over, read the ingredient list, and run a 5-minute test no marketing budget can survive. Subscribe to Face Value if you want the rest of your bathroom audited. If this video helped you, share it with someone who could also use this info. Every week, a different category, the same forensic pressure on the brands you've trusted for decades. Next video, the toothpaste brands running the same playbook. The deception does not end in your shower, it starts the moment you open your mouth. Tell me in the comments which brand shocked you most, and tell me what happened when you did the flame test, because once you watch a bar of soap turn into a puddle of candle wax in your sink, the marketing never works on you again.